これどこ行っちゃったのかな。ちょっと待ってね、今。あれ？OK。レコーディングできた。それでね、まずね、今日はね、イランなんですよ。それでね、イランはね、結構複雑なんで、きちんと説明しないと何があるんだかわかんないんですね。で、イランっていうのはスープリミリーダーっていうハメネイと、それから選挙で選ばれた大統領のロハーニっていうのがいて、この二人が国をですね、マネージしてるんですけれども、このハメネイっていうのは反米、ものすごい反米なんですね、今でも。で、ハメネイが大統領の候補から何から選ぶ権限を持ってるんですけども、ロハーニが対外的に顔を出してますけれども、ハメネイもプーチンに会ったりしてるんですね。で、双方ともの外交政策は全然違うんです。で、ロハーニは経済制裁が、やっぱりなんていうかな、ひどいっていうかね、そういう今までずっとされてきたんで、結局、あれですよね、それを解除しないと経済が、伸びないからっていうんで、そういうふうな意味で、今回核開発を中止するっていう、協定、もともと核開発っていうよりもやってないんですけども、欧米から、ノースクーランのね、制度をやめなさいっていう要望があったんで、それに対してオバマが、30何年ぶりですかね、35年ぶりぐらいに、イランの大統領とアメリカの大統領が会って話を初めてしたんですね。で、それに対してですね、ハメネイは、全く反対するかと思ったけど、そうじゃなくて、当然経済制裁という国がね、停滞しますので、それは渋々っていうか、承諾したんですね。それでも、彼はアメリカを批判してるんですね。信用できない。それは、かつてのですね、イランの1950年代に、アメリカの CIA がですね、イランの、民主主義体制を崩壊させたっていう、過去のいきさつがあったりですね。それから、あとですね、イラクですね、サダム・フセインが、1980年代にイランと戦争したんですけど、その時にサダム・フセインがですね、化学兵器をイランに使って市民をいっぱい殺したんですね。この戦争でイランは100万人死んだんですけれども、そういうふうな過去のアメリカの汚いやり方ですよね。で、そういうことを彼は忘れないで批判してるわけですね。だからアメリカをnot trustworthy っていう言葉とかですね、ともかく信用できないっていうようなことを言ってるんですね。それはそれなりにハメネイの言ってることが正しいと思いますね。で、そうは言っても経済制裁をされていてはですね、国家が停滞したまんまで国民が不満募るので、それを、だから制裁緩和してもらうっていうふうなことで、ロハーニの対米政策っていうか、西側諸国との交渉が、それでうまくできるようになったっていう経緯があるんですね。実際にはロハーニはここで書いてるように選挙で選ばれてますけれども、この候補者を選定する機関というのは、ハメネイが管理してるんですね。で、あとイランの軍隊もハメネイの配下で、ロハーニの配下にはないですね。で、この国は神聖政治で、シーア派のイスラム教国家です。だから民主主義ではないんですね。選挙で選られるっていうのはそういう意味で民主主義の一つのあれですけれども、民主国家ではない。それからFacebook とか、そういうふうな、インターネットもかなり制限されていますね。報道自由はない。で、核開発はそういうことで中断したんですけれども、ICBM の弾道弾の開発はまだ行ってるんですね。あと、イランっていうのはもともとヒズボラですね。ヒズボラはシーア派じゃなくて、 スニ派なんですけど、ヒズボラですね。ヨルダンのヒズボラを支援して、だからヒズボラが、協力して、シリアを助けてるっていうのがですね。で、最近はロシアと共同でね、シリアを支援してまして、アイシスと戦っている。戦ってきたんですね。で、アイシスと戦っているっていうのは、未だに戦ってるんですね。アイシスがなくなったわけじゃないんですね。主要なところ全部もう、シリアもイラクも抑えたんですけれども、アイシスはまだ、いるんですね。で、シリアのアサド政権というのはアラビ派っていうことで、これはシーア派なんですね。で、実際にはシリアは、スンニ派が住民の9割ですかね。だから、アサド政権はマイノリティで、選挙があったらアサドは負けちゃうんですね。当然アサドとの、関係、サウジとの関係は良くないですね。イエメンはこれ代理戦争というのは、シリアと、イランとサウジの代理戦争ですね。トランプはイランを非難しているが、これね、今回、トランプになったから、核協定っていうのを、トランプはね、シリア、イランに対して、破棄しようなんてことを言ってますけど、どこまで彼がそういうふうなことをしようとしてるのかちょっとわからないですね。いろんな原因考えられます。一つはもう、オバマがやったことは全て気に入らないっていうところがあると思うんですね。彼は白人至上主義ですから。あと佐藤の質問があったら聞いてくださいね。それから白人至上主義ですから、いうことと、それからもう一つはやっぱり核開発以外にICBM とか、ここに書いてあるヒズボラと仲良くしてるとかですね、そういうふうなことも、要するに、アメリカが言うヒズボラってテロリスト集団という見てますから、そういう意味からすると、気に入らない。ただ、そうは言ってもですね、後でまたビデオで説明しますけれども、オバマがやったのはやっぱりその中で最も核開発というアメリカとしてはですね、北朝鮮もそうですけれども、意味嫌う部分をやめさせたっていう意味では、西側諸国とも、提携してやめさせたわけですけれども、それについてトランプが反対するっていうのは、ファーリード・ザッカリアも言ってますけど、筋が通んないですね。だから、なんで彼がそんなこと言ってるのかよくわかんないですけど、いろんな理由があるんですけど、その真偽はわかりませんけど、こういうふうなことを言ってるわけですね。で、ここに、次にはね、インターネットで自由に使えないと Facebook か Twitter が制限されて繋がらない。で、これは制限は中国以上に規制が厳しいみたいですね。言論自由はない。イスラム教ってのはそもそも言論自由はないんですね。民主主義の基準と異なってますから、罰則が厳しい。これはですね、イランの場合は、シー派なんで、サウジアラビアみたいなスンニ派じゃなくて、サウジアラビアは最もイスラム教の規律が厳しい国なんですね。ワッファービって言って、ワッファービ派と言って、一番ストーニングで石を投げて殺しちゃうとかね。女性が貫通したら石を投げて殺しちゃうとか、あと、ビヘディングって首を切るとかね、アイシスがやってるようなやつですね。アイシスってのは、サウジアラビアのイスラム教のやり方を真似て、ワッファービを真似て、アイシスを導入したんですね。だからよく皆さんアイシスは残虐だって言いますけど、犯罪者に対する処置の仕方っていうのは、サウジアラビアがやってるんですね。ただ彼らのやり方っていうのは、アイシスの場合にはそれ以外にも非常に内に対しても外に対しても残虐なんで、そういう批判はまだ別途あるんですね。で、アイシス、ついでですけど、アイシス弱くなったって言いますけど、実際には、実際にエジプトとかですね、それからナイジェリアとかですね、いくつかアフガニスタンもそうですけれども、アイシス系統の、派閥ですか が分散しているのは事実なんですね。なくなったわけじゃない。もちろんそのシリアとかイラクにも勢力弱くなってるけど、未だに彼らが起源としているのは事実ですね。で、それとあと、ハメネイと、今言った、ロハーニの関係ですけども、ハメネイの地位が上なんですね。で、ハメネイが前面で出てくると、彼はアメリカを、公に嫌って、後でビデオ見せますけど、公に嫌ってますのでね、アメリカとの関係は悪化します。彼が出てくればですね。で、ロハーニが外交政策をしている限りであれば、今の、彼は経済、今回の昨年12月からのデモがありましたよね。このデモはですね、鳥インフルエンザでもって卵の値段が2倍になっちゃったんですね。1700万羽を殺したんですけど、それが原因でですね、生活用品が値上がりしたということで、一般大衆労働クラスがですね、生活が、経済制裁がなくなったと言って、実は経済の彼がロハーニ第2期ですね。去年の5月に選挙あって、第2期やって100日以内に彼は良くするって言ったんですよ。経済環境ね。ところが、100日ですから、6、7、8ですよね。で、全然良くならなくて、なおかつ、鳥インフレでですね、鶏の卵の値段が2倍になったと、それで12月に、全国的に、2番目の都市から発生したんですけど、全国的に展開して暴動が起こったわけですね。何人も死んでるんですけども。それは、やっぱり、なんていうかな、これはもともとイランの革命が最初と同じですよね。一般大衆が反対してこういうふうなことになったわけですね。で、そういうふうな背景はあるんです。ですから、ロハーニが今、統治してんだけど、結局、制裁解除されたんですけども、経済、外国同士が増えてるわけじゃないし、失業率はそのまま停滞してるし、労働者に対する企業関係良くなってない。だから、インフレはだいぶ収まって経済成長は目に見えて良くなったんですけども、実際にはその労働者階級ですね。ミドルクラスの、レイバークラスですね。生活良くなってない。で、必需食品ですね。が、値上がってるという。卵なんかそうですけど、それでも、国民がフラストレートして行動を起こした。今のままでいくとかなり社会的な不安が出てしまうんで、ロハーニにとってはいい状況ではない。で、あとはここにシリアですけど、これはもうイランの営業下に入ることになりますよね。サウジアラビアは石油価格が低迷しているのと、シェールガスがね、アメリカ増えてきたんで、結局、オペックが石油価格コントロールできないし、今後は、イエメンと代理戦争をしたとしてもイランが主導権を取ることになるというふうに私は思いますね。で、エルドアンもですね、やっぱりオットーマンエンパイアということで、かつてのね、トルコの、帝国があったわけですけど、それを狙ってますけども、やっぱり中東の主導権は、結局イランということになると思います。で、アメリカはね、そこまで読んだ上っていうことは、私が今言ってるようなことを意識してイランと対峙しているのかどうかっていうことですけども、私の目から見ればトランプの考え方、どこまで彼考えてるのかってわかりませんけども、やっぱりまず核開発を、濃縮ウランの製造をやめさせたということで制裁解除するって僕はね、それは正しいと思うんですよね。で、ICBM とか、それからあとはヒズボラを支援したり、イランの対外的にね、シーア派ですから、サウジに対峙してやってる。もちろんハメネイっていうのはもう、反米、それから反イスラエルですから、トランプはイスラエルすごくイスラエル寄りの行動してますけど、そういうふうなことがあるにしてもですね、今の、アグリーメントはね、維持していくべきだ、ということですね。彼自身は自分のツイッターではね、もうイランとの関係というか、核ディールはもうなしだっていうふうに言ったけど、実際には弾をコングレスに投げてるわけですよね。コングレスに投げたってことをコングレスはそれでもって、やめたなんてことはありえないんでね。 まあ、なんでそんなこと言ったな、トランプが言ったのか僕もよくわかりませんけど、言うだけ言ったよみたいな。彼が就任当初台湾の蔡英文にね、電話して、ハローなんて言ったのと似たような感じかもしれませんけど、まあそうだすれば、まあ品格がないですね、という、そういうことですね。で、まあ、ハメネイがね、反アメリカですから、イランの民主主義国家を転覆した、1950年代民主主義国家を転覆したんですけど、クーデター、CIA がですね、そんなことしたりですね。まあ CIA って昔そういうことをいろいろやってきた、例の、前もトルコをやった時はトルコのエルドアンですね。エルドアンの、倒すためのクーデターもCIA が仕掛けたんじゃないかなというふうなことを、やってるニュースもありましたから、まあそれも取り上げましたけど、多分そうかもしれません。ということですよね。実際にトルコはもう、アメリカ絡みの、なんていうかな、援助っていうかね、民間支援団体全部こう、返しちゃったから、シリアから難民350万いますけど、あそこら辺のこう支援してる NGO なんかいなくなっちゃったんですよね。どうしてんのかちょっとわかりませんけど、そういうふうなことですよね。であとはだから、中東におけるアメリカの CIA の動きを、イランなんかちゃんと見てるわけですよね。でそういうふうなことですね。それからあとはあれですね、さっき言ったようなイラク、イラン戦争の時にね、まあ、化学兵器を、イラクが使ったっていう、そういうことに対しても、まあ、アメリカを信用してないっていうことがあるんですね。だから、そういう意味では、反米というのは根が深い。で、後でこう、最後のところでビデオがそこにあるんですけど、やっぱりハメネイが演説してるところに、支持者がいっぱい集まってきてますけど、やっぱりその時に、彼の演説で、支持者は、アメリカを、潰せとかね、イギリスを潰せとかっていうふうな、なんていうかな、チャントって言うんですけど、こう、歓声を言ってるんですね。まあそういうことで、イランはアメリカの陰謀には屈しないっていう、そういうふうなことを言ってるんですね。で、ロハニ側としてはそうは言ったってね、ハメイニがそうは言ったって、経済制裁いつまでも続いていては、国民が急募しちゃうんでね。ということで、まあ、今回の核協定できた。でそういうことだとすればですね、さっきも言ったように、経済そのものもやっぱり確かにインフレが落ち着いてきて、緩和されたんですけども、経済も政治もね、上向きになってきたんですけども、ハメネイとロハニとの関係とか、それからやっぱりもちろん今まで長い経済制裁のおかげかもしれませんけれども、雇用が伸びないっていうことと、海外からの投資が停滞しているということも合わせてですね、経済が不安定だという、政治も不安定だ。そういうことですね。だから、イランは安定しているようですけども、まあ安定してないというのが実態ですね。で、中東の中でこの今下にカタールのこと書いてあるんですけども、サウジはカタール断交しましたよ。断交、字が違う。ちょっと。断交しましたけどね。これはもう明らかにサウジそのものが、サルマンっていう人ですよね、今ヘッド。でもこれはもう、なんていうかな。金持って、まず石油で中東を支配してきたから、まあ、なんでこんなこと断交してるのか僕はちょっと理解できないんですけどね。クレイジーですね。味方を一つ減らしたわけですから。だから、金持ってるがゆえに、アロガントになったっていうことですかね。で、サウジとイランは代理戦争してますけど、あと、まあ、アイシルのテロ活動今後どうなるかっていうことで、あと、アイシルがテヘラン テヘランにね、襲撃しましたよね。そういうふうなテロ行為があってますけど、まあ、今後、ここに書いてある石油基地に攻撃が移っていく可能性もあるんで、アイシルもいろいろ分派がありますからね、まあ、大きなところを潰したとは言ってもですね、油断ができないですね。経済の話は今しましたけど、まあ、社会不安拡大していくということですね。まあ、以上がまあ、イランの日本語の説明で、次は、英語の説明です。そこまでは、ササビいいかな？ササビいるのかな、そこに。
聞こえてます。います。
お前分かった？
いや、非常に難しいです。難しいです。
難しい。だからできるだけ分かりやすい説明。ちゃんとさ、君さ、それって理解しなかったら今日出てる意味ないよ。何が分かんないの？
今の情勢の中で、そこにロシアとかは入ってないんですか？
イランはね、イラクとのその内戦においてロシアと仲良くしてるんですよ。で、実際にはロハーニがロシアを訪問して、プーチンに会ったりしてね。で、この中にも出てきますけど、イランとロシアの会議でロシアがいろいろイランに協力するよってインフラ開発とかっていうようなこともプーチンが言ってるんですね。だからイランとロシアは、いいですね。
イランとシリアの関係ってどう？
イランとシリアはですね、それはいいですよ、イランとシリアは。なぜかっていうと、
はい。
イランとシリアはなぜいいかっていうとですね、そりゃそうですよ、イランがシリアを助けてるんですから。イランがシリアを助けてるんですから。それはそうですよ、イランがシリアを助けてしてるわけですよ。それを助けてるから、それは、仲はいいですよ。イランはね、シーア派なんでね、アサドはアラワイトっていうのは、やっぱシーア派なんですね。人口の 10% ですけど。で、仮に選挙するって、アサド言ってますけど、選挙したらアサドはもう完全に負けちゃいますね。10% ですから。残りの9割がスンニ派なんですね。トルコはどうかっていうとですね、トルコとイランはですね、さっきちょっと言いましたけど、あんまり環境良くないんですね。トルコはさっき言ったように、オスマン帝国をね、再興したいっていう。イランは、逆に今度は、中東をね、制覇していたいという意図がありますから、だからそういう意味では、バッティングしてるんですね。
歴史的にロシアはトルコに戦争で、歴史的にトルコはロシアに負けているから、その歴史もあって今もトルコとロシアは仲が悪いんですか？
トルコとロシアはですね、仲悪かったんですけども、今ね、仲いいんですよ。トルコとロシア仲いい。トルコとイランは仲いいかっていうと、対シリアの戦争では、トルコはロシアに逆らえない。今までは、トルコは仲悪かったんですけど、トルコはロシアの飛行機を落としたりしたんだけどね、謝罪してね、仲良くなったから、間接的にはトルコはイランに対して反目しないんですけど、イランとは勢力争いはしてるんですよね。中東だからあなた言うようにさ、すごく複雑な環境があって、まあ、なんていうかな、例えばイランなんか、ハメネイなんかもう、アイシルはアメリカが武器なんか供給してきてるよって言ってんですよね、公に。国内ではね。だから反米だから。で、反米という意味では、トルコも今そうですし、イランもそうですし、ロシアもそうだから、ああいう意味では結託してるんですね。トルコはそれじゃあ、ロシアは南下してきて、シリアを占領するかっていうと、必ずしもそうじゃないんですね。だから、ロシアも、シリアも、 イランも反サウジですよね。トルコはサウジアラビアに対しては、トルコは
同じスンニ派ですよね。
トル
コとシリアはスンニ派とシア派で。
いや、シリアはね、アサドがね、アラワイトでシア派なんですよ。国は、
トルコは、
だけど、トルコはね、スンニ派なんですよ。だけど、サウジとはね、仲良かったかな。良くないんじゃないかな。
聞かない。
サルマンがトルコに対して何か言ったってあんまり聞かない。ちょっと忘れちゃいましたね。そういう関係ですよ。あんまり親しくはないですね。だから中東はね、複雑なんですよ、すごく。で、アメリカはね、まあ、いろいろ、この中でも、ビデオの中でもアメリカがね、確かにアイシルを倒す役割一時果たしていたけど、ロシアがやっぱり来たんで、まあ、ロシア、イランでしょうね。だからアメリカは結局駆逐されてしまったっていう感じですかね。まだいますけど。アメリカはね、クルドをね、支援して、クルドに対してアイシルを叩く支援してるんです。それがまた、トルコとの関係でもって複雑な関係になっていることは事実なんですけども、ただクルドの独立はアメリカもイランも、みんな反対してるんですね。そういう感じです。サタベはあんま勉強してないからわかんねえだろ、お前。うん。高橋は多分分かってるね。今来てるから。
サラさんどこにいるんです
か？サタベはなんか知らないけど、会社の近くの喫茶店に来て勉強したいからって、真面目に勉強してるんだよ。たまに勉強してるから、何がなんだかわけわかんないって言うんだけど、日本語でもわかんないって。英語でやってももっとわかんないと思うんだけど。
たまに全然わかんないです。
でもこれは中東ってものすごく大事でね、これ理解してないとね、世界の第一歩がわかんないんですよね。東南アジアって簡単ですよね。南アジアもそんな難しくないし、ロヒンギャぐらいの問題しかないんですけどね。で、インドネシアとか、大した問題ない。やっぱ中東は難しいんですよ。でもここに、僕がまとめたのは非常によくまとまってて、今の話は、まあ、非常によくまとまってるんですね。で、資料はちょっと、大幅に今日書き直して作成したんで、インターネットにアップしてませんけど、
皆さんちょっと画面が消えちゃったんで、もう一回共有してもらっていいですか？
画面消えちゃった？なんで消えちゃったの？
共有が。
見えた？見えた？
はい。
ということですね。それじゃあ、まあ次、説明いきますかね、英語の説明。で、同じこと言ってるんですけど、Okay. Presidential elections in Iran raise a puzzling contradiction. How can the government include both an unelected supreme leader, これハメネイのことね、and the president who is chosen in vote, これローハンね、that are treated as serious contest? Put another way, is Iran a democracy or dictatorship? まあ、ディクテーターシップでしょうね。Citizens elect a president as well as members of legislature. 議会ね。member of legislature. But they are overseen by institutions staffed by clerics. これはハメネイのグループね。One known as a guardian council. 監督者評議会。Approve all candidates for office.narrowing the scope of election. だから彼らが選択してるから当然、このガーディアンカウンセルが監督してるから、当然大統領もこの中で認められた人しか選挙出られない。Still other unelected bodies, like the Revolutionary Guard, 軍隊ね、wields tremendous power. まあ、この軍隊ってのはインランドの軍隊強力な力を持っている。The supreme leader who holds the position for life.一生、the position for life ね is the most important field overseeing everything 結局すべて見てるんですね。で、これなぜかね、ハメネイとね、ローハニーって仲悪くないんですよね。The system began with a series of hurried political compromises amid the country's 1979 revolution. The end result was the Islamic Republic, meant to combine democratic involvement with the theocratic oversight. In practice, the two often clash with unelected, unaccountable officials holding the most power. Yeah? The result has been 38 years of weak democracy, but strong politics. Political functions, each with a base of support, compete through elections and for influence among powerful bureaucracies. Over the years, although the government has remained broadly authoritarian, it has oscillated among degrees of democracy. Those fluctuations, while subtle, have often coincided with elections. ということで、次のね、Farid Zakaria on Trump reveals US will decertify Iran nuclear deal and Iran response. これ前のビデオはね、実はね、なんか削除されたの。これね、昨日の夜見てね、10時頃見て、あれって準備してたらこれ削除されてて、違うのに今差し替えたんです、これ。で、新しいやつですね、最初のビデオ。で、元のやつは何だったか忘れちゃったけど、まあ、ファーリー・ザカリアが中東すごく詳しいんで、で、まあ彼の、探して入れました。で、まあ、これはこれ誰だっけな、なんか、女性が出てきてね、アナウンサー、綺麗なアナウンサー出てきて、ザカリアに質問してるやつですね。トランプはイランとの核協定を破棄したいと言ったが、その結果議会に委ねた。こんな変な話で破棄すると言って、実は破棄しない。まあ、議会はね、破棄しませんから。トランプは協定の精神を遵守してないとイランのことを批判して、何を言ってるのかわからないって、ザカリアは言ってるんですね。僕もそう思います。EU も、インターナショナルアトミックエナジーエージェンシーですね。IAEA ですね。もう8回もこの協定には承諾してきている。確かにこの10年間イランの行動は中東においてもアフガニスタンにおいてもアメリカは気に入らない。ただ今回の協定は核開発に関する協定だけなので、10トン濃縮ウランの 98% 除去したので、それだけの協定ですよ。イランにある核施設はコンクリートで固めてしまった。確かにイランはイエメンやレバノンでアメリカの政策とは異なって行動しているけれども、この協定とは関係のないのに、なんで、トランプがイチャモンつけてるのか理解できない。ただ、トランプがそんなこと言うから、関係者は不安と緊張を起こしているよっていう、そういうビデオですね。で、単語いくつかあって、live up to、なんとかにそう、quote。これ特殊な使い方してますね、本文の中で。quote。これは、murderous。これは、元々の殺人的という意味と違う意味ですね。極めて危険なという意味に使って、murderous ですね。普通は殺人的なという意味ですね。人を殺してとか。あと、これはシニスターですね。邪悪なシニスター。それから、この次の言葉もね、ちょっと特殊に使って、この女性が使ってるパントって使ってるんですけども、かけるっていう意味で特殊に使ってます。これ、パントってなんか、アメフトの言葉で、手に持ったボールを落として、地面につく前にキックするのをパントっていうらしいんですけど、ここではかけるっていう意味使ってます。この女性が特殊な言葉ですね。take away ってこれテイクアウトのことですけども、これは、テイクアウトって意味じゃなくて、覚えておくべき点っていう意味で彼女使ってます。考慮すべき意見だ。take away っていうね。ある意味では、特殊な、女が使う言葉じゃないですからね、きっと。
take away ってよく出てきます。
でもそれはテイクアウトでしょ？
いや、
考慮すべき点っていうことで。
はい。
本当？
はい。
僕は初めてそういう、そう。ビザール。へんてこなって、これは言葉通りですね。これも知らない。大アトライブっていう。痛烈な批判、大アトライブと、これも知りませんね。 in effect これよく出るの、事実上。uphold 支持する。これ incoherence。これは支離滅裂って意味ですね。incoherence。adhere to strict guidelines。これは、遵守っていう意味ですね。adhere to。あと、これはね、どの言葉かな。road fleshly paved with asphalt。paved with、舗装したって意味ですね。それっても、molten、溶けたっていう。これなんて、molten、溶けたですね。どこ使って溶けた ?The law would be rendered useless。render ですね。なるだろう。になるとか。となるとか。render。ineffective。render。無効になる。render。よく出てくるんですけどね。日本人あんまり使えないですよ、この言葉ね。render ね。なるという意味で、なんとかなる。The law would be rendered useless. 使えたらかっこいいんですけどね。intrusive. 立ち入ったっていう意味ですね。出しゃばる。これね、こんな単語あんのかと思ったらあったんですね。これなんだっけな発音する。small gashboard。small gashboard。多種多様のって。small gashboard of って出てきた。なんか発音間違って気を出てきたかと思った。あんまり覚えなくていいですね。spend a chunk of time。かなり時間を費やす。don't bank on it。当てにする。don't bank on。これね、当てにする。don't bank。銀行です。don't bank on it。当てにする。bank on 出てきます。これも初めて言いました。so で引いた。so confusion in many human. so confusion. 種をまくですね。混乱種も so confusion. これは salt という過去形出てきます。a bag of chicken feed. ここは feed ですね。餌で bag of chicken feed ですね。これよく出ます。benefit of the doubt. これしょっちゅう出ますね。疑わしい点を被告に有利に解釈する。benefit of the doubt. これはですね、fine の言葉ですね。He's a fine man. いい男。He's a fine man. And would make a good husband. ね。fine man. あと、the breakdown of negotiation. 決裂 breakdown. negotiation, breakdown. という、決裂っていう言葉が出てこなかったんで、聞きました。まあ、いつもそうですけど、自分が使うつもりになって、この単語使えるかなっていうのを字を引いてるんですね。だからね、レンダー。これは難しい使いですね。使える日本人はあまり、law would be rendered, useless. law would be rendered, ineffective. law would be rendered. まあ、使えないですよね。Okay, by the way, let's go into start have a look. これはね、なんか知りませんけどね、僕のパソコンがね、こうやって、これ最初かな。これね、すごく綺麗なお姉ちゃん出てくるんですよ。じゃあ見てみますね。知らないけど
最近のやつですね。
これ
このブレイキングニュースって、最近 CNN。
そうなのこれ。新しいよ。今日、今日入れたんだ、僕。今日これ作って、今日は朝入れたんだ。これ新しいやつ。でね、じゃあ、OK。で、見たらですね、ちょっとですね、ディスカッションしようと思うんですね。この内容でね。だからよく見ててください。で、僕のブログにも書いて、Facebook に書きましたように、笹部くんもそうだけど、今日説明しても、日本語説明してもよくわかんない。これ実は2016年に、ロハーニーとね、の話は、やったんですよ。運の塾で。覚えてる？すごいね。僕は調べたらね、僕出てきてね、その当時、僕は英語下手くそでね、とっても見てらんないビデオだったんですけど、やったんです、2016年に。だから、 今回2回目なんだよね。うん。だからまあ、でも全然忘れてましたね。まあ、見てみましょう。
Breaking news today as President Trump announces he will not recertify the Iran nuclear deal. He did not point to any specific violations of the weapon inspections, but rather he says that Iran is not living up to the, quote, spirit of the deal.
これ、サザベはね、ジェスチェの美人だよ、これ。久々の美人だよ、これ。え、そういや、美人だよ、これね、すごいよ。えすごいよね。だから、日本の放送局のこんな美人いるのかな。
His murderous past and present, we should not take lightly its sinister vision for the future.
OK、あれごめん、僕なんか飛ばしちゃったよ。
Breaking news today as President Trump announces he...
ちょっと単語出しますね。あれあった。これ、シニスターね、邪悪な感
じ。He will not recertify the Iran nuclear deal. He did not point to any specific violations of the weapon inspections, but rather he says that Iran is not living up to the, quote, spirit of the deal.
Given the regime's murderous past and present, we should not take lightly its sinister vision for the future. The regime's two favorite chants are death to America and death to Israel.
これ彼が言ってるのはね、ちょっとね、この人ね、極端ですよね。ね。正確なんですかね。どうしてもね、僕はね、これこれなんか、これ消したいんだけどさ、あれこれ、消したいんだけど、消えない。これ全部広げないとダメだ。それ。許容ないんですかね、この人。政策間違えてる。
Previous administration lifted these sanctions just before what would have been the total collapse of the Iranian regime through the deeply controversial 2015 nuclear deal with Iran. As I have said many times, the Iran deal was one of the worst and most one-sided transactions the United States has ever entered into. Importantly,
he said, I think he disliked Obama. I think this is a big reason he is against the Iranian deal, right? Okay.
Iran is not living up to the spirit of the deal.
This is a lot of discussion you need to consider. He said, the spirit of deal, what the spirit means. Right? I don't understand what this means. Okay. Live up to the deal? He said, the spirit of deal, what this means. I don't understand.
So decertification doesn't scrap the deal entirely. It does punt this decision to Congress.
She said punt. Punt the decision. Slow the decision to Congress. Kakeru, punt.
We also just got some reaction from Iran's President Hassan Rouhani, who says the U.S. is, for the first time, standing against an international treaty. And we now have Fareed Zakaria, host of CNN's Fareed Zakaria GPS, joining us now to analyze all of this. I do want to talk about what the Iranian president said in just a moment, but first, let's go to the president's speech. I wonder what you think about this, Fareed. What was your takeaway?
Takeaway, ね。
Takeaway って昔のオバマの1時間のビデオで。
テイクアウェイ出てきた。本当？記憶力いいね。
It was perhaps the most bizarre statement by an American
He said bizarre statement. へんてこな、ね。
president on foreign policy in a long time because it was a diatribe against
Okay, it's a diatribe. ね。痛烈な非難。diatribe.
the Iran agreement, but then we're still in it. So the president is in effect criticizing a policy he is at the same time upholding. As I say, it's the internal incoherence and
incoherence 進まわない。contradiction 矛盾。
contradiction is so strange that I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before. If the deal is as bad as the president says, why doesn't he get out of it? He points out that effectively that Iran is in fact adhering to the deal. He says
adhering to sleep 執着する遵守するね to the deal.
It's not adhering to the spirit of the deal. It's not entirely clear.
Not
so
adhering.
What Trump is saying, Iran is adhering to the deal, but it's not to the spirit of the deal.
And he said, it doesn't make sense, he said, not entirely clear. Right?
What he means by that?
What mean by that?
It is adhering to the letter of the deal and has been certified 8 times by the International
8 times by the IAEA.
Atomic Energy Agency, and is confirmed by every intelligence agency in the world that has been monitoring it. So I think that I, like most people watching this, in Europe, in the Middle East, are just wondering, what does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean? So we heard from the Iranian president, and he points out, look, the president cannot decertify this unilaterally. That is true, and that is what's happening, as you point out. But he also said that the president was full of accusations, full of insults, that it was baseless, and he was saying that specifically to the point that President Trump made about how Iran is sponsoring terrorism. So break that down for us.
So there's no question that Iran has engaged in actions that the United States has not liked in the Middle East, though there are some areas
not like
where Iran has actually been done things that the United States has wanted it to. In Afghanistan, Iran has been
Afghanistan also they do not like
reasonably helpful and on the same page as the United States for much of the last decade. But there are significant areas of disagreement. The Iran deal explicitly does not deal with foreign policy in general, regional policy in particular. The Iran deal was about one specific thing.
Is it just only one specific thing?
Iran's quest for nuclear weapons, as seen by the United States and many other countries. The Iranians always claimed that they were only acquiring nuclear capacity, not nuclear weapons. The deal was meant to freeze that capacity, roll it back in certain areas, and it has been extraordinarily successful at that. 98% of Iran's enriched uranium, 10 tons.
Enriched uranium, right? 10 tons.
Was taken out. A facility they had in Iraq was literally
not Iraq, Iran.
Paved over with concrete, as it were. There was molten concrete poured into it to render it inoperable.
Inoperable, render it inoperable.
Inspectors in Iran on a level that no country has ever had at any point. So in many ways, it is an incredibly intrusive agreement. The Iranians have
incredibly intrusive.
So far maintained it, and it deals with freezing and reversing Iran's nuclear program. Yeah, the Iranians are doing things in Yemen or in Lebanon that the United States doesn't like. By the way, we are doing things.
So he said, the Iran involving Hezbollah and Yemen, but these are different issues. He talked about, right?
In the Middle East that they don't like. Maybe that is something that could be discussed separately. Maybe it could.
Separately, maybe it could.
Ironically, during the initial period of the negotiations, it was Iran that tried to broaden the deal to encompass some of these other regional issues, and it was the United States and the Western powers that said no. We want to just deal with one issue, because our fear at the time was this just creates a big, large smorgasbord of issues and will never resolve.
Right? Small gasball. a lot of small gas bombs. 使わないね、こんなね。
Of anything.
Yeah, and then one thing becomes
just the
beholden
Iran
to the other
nuclear
issue.
deal.
Yeah. So when you look at what's been happening over the last 24 hours, this is at least optically an attempt to undo what was a hard-fought, hard-negotiated agreement with Iran by the Obama administration, but then also this canceling the subsidies when it comes to Obamacare. I mean, what do you think about the...
Oh, she's talking another issue. Subsidy comes to Obamacare. Right.
President, with these two things taken as a whole, this approach of really trying to just take chunks out of that legacy?
Well, I think more than anything else, what you're seeing is a president who seems more interested in disrupting than in building. Because in each...
Zakaria said disrupting rather than building.
Each of these cases, and you're right to tie them together, there is no new policy. There is no new set of programs that people can bank on, that people can understand.
Okay, bank on. I think so.
And that the world could follow. Instead, it is simply something that has sown confusion, uncertainty, raised tensions without resolving anything.
Okay, just only the tension, right? Confusion.
So it's very difficult to see how anyone could look at this.
Healthcare is also the same, right? He tried to destroy healthcare system, but what else you can propose to another alternative? He doesn't have it, right?
As a productive step forward, it's almost as though it's political signaling. It achieves, it sort of feeds a certain kind of anger.
Sort of feeds.
That people might have in the Republican base, the anti-Obama element.
Just he said anti-Obama elements, right?
And things like that. But what does it do for people in the United States, people in the world, when you look at the issue of healthcare, you look at the Iran deal? It's not clear. Just confusion, uncertainty, chaos.
I want to ask you about the Green Berets killed in Niger as well, because CNN has learned some new details about this ambush. Four
Green Beret.
Killed, 2 wounded there, and now the U.S. military is investigating
this is Niger.
Exactly what happened. Why do you think the president hasn't said anything about these fine service members?
Fine means very good, you know. Lippana, good, very lippana.
To have been killed.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, he said benefit of doubt. 疑わしい点を疑わないと。
It's a rapidly unfolding situation. Perhaps he's waiting to get more.
Unfolding situation. まだ実際によく状況分かってない状況ね。Unfolding situation.
Or information. I'm not reading anything into it at this point, and I don't think.
この時はまだ分かんなかったのかな。10月でしょ。あれ起こったばっかだね。
I think people should wait until we get a little bit more information about it. It is, of course, a tragedy, and these are very fine. These are very fine soldiers. But what
is it that needs to be known, do you think, Fareed? Is it the circumstances of it? I mean, this was an ambush. This was supposed to be a...
Oh, these soldiers ambushed and killed by terrorism. Terrorists. But usually American soldiers, they don't battle against terrorists. They just only in Africa, Niger, they stay there to advise the people. But how come they involved in to be killed? So this is just, but Fareed said, okay, we don't know what the truth, what they're actually doing there.
Maybe a relatively safe operation and...
Relatively safe operation, usually they are doing, not confront against the terrorists.
Then surprisingly it was not. So that's really the question that needs to be...
So the wife, her husband killed the wife. They believe this is working for safe, operation. But how come he's killed? Right? So just showing the video, the video that tells that.
To be answered?
Precisely. It appears to have been something that was almost more routine. it wasn't. Was there a breakdown in intelligence? Does it suggest?
Breakdown, I just say this one. 決裂 Breakdown in intelligence? だから諜報活動でなんか決裂したというわけでもない。ね
Yes, something new. Does it require an immediate response? Would you be telegraphing anything by responding to it publicly? As I say, I think it's worth giving the president the benefit of the doubt on this.
All right, Fareed Zakaria, thank you so much for that. I do want to tell you we're minutes away now from the House Speaker, from Paul.
わからないよって言ってるね。Okay, this is a video where I show you the case of why Trump against the Iran deal. Maybe we don't have discussion for those areas? Very clear. We don't know what he's thinking about. Do you have any opinion? Do you? No?
Yeah, I neither understood.
こっち来てじゃないと画面入んない。こっち。もうちょっと。
Yeah, I neither understood as did Zakaria the mail comment. That what is unclear for him is what is the spirit of the deal. The Trump was just saying they're abiding by the letter of the deal, but not by the spirit of the deal. Then what United States and the Trump doesn't like Iran, doesn't like to see Iran doing something in the Middle East is they are aggressively engaged in something happened in Yemen and also Hezbollah. They're doing something with Hezbollah. The country is more Lebanon.
Lebanon, okay.
So the Trump doesn't feel comfortable on Iran's aggressive involvement on what is going on in Yemen and the Lebanon. So
it doesn't relate into anything about nuclear deal, right? Well, how come he's going to speak extending to those kind of issues?
Yeah, that is what he mentioned unclear and understandable.
Oh, Zakaria said, yeah.
The words of the spirits. What is the spirit of deal that not expected by Obama, but by the Trump as current president? So the question is still on what is meant by the spirit of the deal.
Okay.
What kind
Me
of...
neither. I don't understand why he is talking about that as spirit of deal. What hell is he talking about? But how come he is going to speak out the issue of Yemen and issue of the other, like Hezbollah? Why he's just mixing for kind of issues? Trump. Or he's not expert for the political issues or some negotiation, something like that. He's just not so much familiar with how to negotiate with other foreign policy or something. He's just, he are not familiar with that.
Yeah, maybe after he took the office from Obama, that nuclear deal with Iran has not come in as they originally expected to make this deal. I think that Iran, for Trump, Iran has been doing something more than they expected in this deal. Because he mentioned that in the process of this negotiation, that was the Iran who put some idea that this deal could include broader scope
You mean the agreement or just
agreement? Not this nuclear agreement, but also including Iran's operation in Middle East. But it was the United States who rejected to broaden the scope on the deal. The United States just said they just wants to focus on this deal, one issue, to stop the nuclear development.
By the way, just American president and Iran president, they never met each other past 35 years, and at this occasion, they just start to discuss each other after 5 years elapsed time. So Obama that good deal he made, right? So Trump hate Obama or just because he just consider for like a ICBM or the other kind of issues? Oh my God, just made a conclusion, right? So how come he tried to break down the kind of agreement? I don't understand. Like if he just only hate Obama's, just she said, okay, also healthcare, you know, it's too much childish.
Yeah.
He like, I know he like white people instead of black people. He hate black people, but we understand though. But it's childish.
So as she mentioned, is rooted this discussion and accusing of any policies made in the former regime with Obama is made rooted by the anti-Obama elements.
Right.
So for maybe the perspective from the Iran side is always United States who changed the concept of the deal, who broke the agreement after the regime was changed. So almost every time, or almost many cases that the new administration came in office, then they denied any agreement or policy made in the previous administration. Then we are the regime in the United States. Then we don't like to keep this agreement, keep this policy going, because this is not good for America, good for their citizens. So they always.
But it's ridiculous, anyway. Okay.
Yeah, there is distrust.
Distrust
from Iran side.
Okay, let's move on the next video. Or I have very interesting video we have, but let's try to moving on the next one sequentially. Okay. Let's move on. Geopolitics of Iran. Next one. This is geopolitics. This video showing explain that geopolitics territories. Okay, in the late 500 years, the borders of Iran have remained more or less the same. This is because of the topographical barriers. The country is surrounded by the mountainous border and the coastline in the south. The center of the country is uninhabitable wasteland. Iran's rough terrain brought forth the 16th century metaphor, the walls of Iran. And despite Iran's growing regional influence, the country remains vulnerable from the inside. Although the country is also known as Persia, almost half of Iran's total population is actually non-Persian. Because that's the reason why he said vulnerable from the inside. Okay, many of the Iran's strategic regions are populated by ethnic minorities such as Azerbaijans, Kurds, Balochis, and Arabs. Okay, this is I just inserted the map. This is Iran, mountains, inhabitants, and also this is another map is people living. Where are the people living? Nobody living here. Okay. で、これは日本語説明した今の英語で言ったやつをそのまま日本語で書いてますけど。これ、北側にはアゼルバイジャン人が住んでて、独立運動があるんですよね。バラジ人って知らないけど、まあいろんな人が住んでて。国内がやっぱりね、いろんな人種がペルシャ人半分しかいなくて、国内が逆に不安定だっていうことを言ってるんですね。
アラブ人とペルシャ人と違うの？
全然違うんでしょうね。やっぱり、ペルシャっていうのはもともと王朝でしょ。で、アラブも王朝かもしれない。アラブって部族だよね、どっちかっていうとね。ペルシャの歴史が古いんじゃないか。で、イランとはもともと侵略しにくい地形なんだけど、そもそも、内側がね、安定してないっていうことをここで言ってるんだね。隠された、コーバート。それから、セセッショニズム。独立だね、これ、セセッショニズム。セセッショニズム。セセッショニズム。独立？これなんで1個しか書いてない？これは短い部分。これ地形だからちょっと。これはもう、あんまりディスカッションするし。これですね。これは7 minutes.
Of Iran have remained more or less the same. This is because of the topographical barriers. The country is surrounded by 3 mountainous borders and a coastline in the south. The center of the country is an uninhabitable wasteland. Iran's rough terrain brought forth the 16th century metaphor, the walls of Iran. Even today, it accurately describes the modern foundation of Iran. Iran's mountainous aspect becomes more obvious when you look at the map. The most important topographical barrier are the Zagros Mountains. These mountains are populated by many non-Persian ethnic groups like Kurds and Azerbaijanis. Unlike most of Iran's population, Kurds are Sunnis, not Shias, and they also populate the mountainous regions in Iraq and Turkey. That's why superpowers have always used the Kurdish people to manipulate ethnic tensions in the region. The Zagros Mountains have been Iran's frontier border with Turkey and Iraq. And you'll probably know...
Iraq. Kurdish people living here, right? This is Turkey. これカスピ海。ロシア。クルディスタン。クルディアのアゼルバイジャン。アゼルバイジャン。ここら辺、アゼルバイジャン。
Notice how Iraq is flat and Iran is mountainous. That is exactly why this formed the historical border between Mesopotamia and Persia. The only exception to
メソポタミアとペルシャを分けるんで、これ侵略しにくいね。これ川じゃないかな？違うかな？
そうですね。
This is to the south where we have the province of Khuzestan.
これ海だよね、きっと。そう、クウェートって書いてあるね。
Region is flat, but it's partly a swamp. This is where the Tigris and Euphrates
スワンプって沼地ね。
rivers join and form the Shet el-Arab waterway. So despite being lowland, the swampy nature makes Khuzestan a defensible region. But this region is populated by ethnic Arabs, not Persians, and therefore this
ethnic Arabs, not Persians.
Area is vulnerable to separatism and covert operations, and Iran's intelligence service is always on its high alert in this region. This also explains the capture of British sailors and the reports of US special operations in this region. To the north you have the Alborz Mountains. These are mainly populated by Azerbaijani.
あ、ここだ、アゼルバイジャン、独立しようとする。
or Azeris for
ここクルド、アゼルバイジャン。トルクメニスタンですよ。
short. They are by far the largest minority group in Iran, numbering around the 25 million of the total 74 million. And things become even more complicated when you consider the independent Republic of Azerbaijan just to the north. You see, the Azerbaijani people were divided by the Russian and Persian empires in the 19th century. And ever since the independence of Azerbaijan Republic, Iran fears that its own Azerbaijan population might evolve into a separatist movement. Now, despite being such a large group, the Azerbaijani language is not taught at schools.
So we don't discuss that much, but Azerbaijan people is living here like a Kurdish, right?
The language is practically banned from the education system in
banned. Language is banned. Azerbaijan is
order to speed up the Persian assimilation process. And this has led to the rapidly growing number of secessionist-minded Azerbaijanis in Iran. This becomes more apparent when you look at soccer matches in Iran, where you have the Azerbaijani soccer fans chanting for complete independence. Further along, there's the Caspian Sea and the Karagum Desert in Turkmenistan, and an
I don't know, Garigan Desert. I don't know.
extension of the Alborz Mountains. These form the buffer zones against Russia and Pakistan. The most significant ethnic group in this
Okay, this is Afghanistan. This is Pakistan.
region are the Balochi. Ethnicity aside, they are also Sunni Muslims, and there have always been
Sunni Muslim. There are still Sunni Muslims living there, right?
Balochi separatist movements. Even today, they are still active. Moving along to the center of Iran, there are two uninhabitable deserts, but this is also the region
This area.
that is populated by ethnic Persian people. And although the country is known as Persia, Iran has a population that is nearly 50% non-Persian. Iran controls these groups by a system in which cooperation is rewarded and resistance is severely punished. To the south, Iran borders the Persian Gulf. Now, Iran has never been a maritime power, and the only real port they have is Bandar Abbas, located on the Strait of Hormuz.
This one. Persian Gulf. And this one. This one.
海にはそんな強くない。
でもイランはここを管理してるから、アメリカが一番脅威を持って止められたら、世界の単価の 40% ここ通ってるから。ね、カタール。
ホルムズ海峡。
うん、世界の 40% ここ通ってる。
This is a very strategic region where about 40%
これでしょ
ペルシャ湾。
うん。
of world's seaborne oil passes through.
About 40% of world seaborne oil passes, right?
Now, given the amount of oil Iran has, you might expect this country to be very wealthy, but this isn't the case. And although Iran ranks as the number 18th largest
Let's see. What? What does this mean?
PPP.
No, my numbers. What does this mean? This is per capita. This is total. But they are showing that I think this is billion. And I know it's too many figures.
just economy, its GDP only ranks as number 97. This has to do with the fact that ever since the baby boom in the 1960s, Iran has been struggling to keep up with the domestic demand for food, education, housing, and employment. But the underdevelopment of the energy industry also has to do with the sanctions against Iran and the inefficiencies of the oil ministry. An equally important reason is the geography. A lot of Iran's oil is located in rough terrain, and this raises the transportation costs and lowers the profitability. That's why rising oil prices have no effect on the lives of the average Iranians. And that's also why Tehran always wanted to acquire assets in the Saudi oil. So all these aspects combined make any economic improvement in Iran very difficult, and without the oil, Iran would be out of balance and in complete poverty. But as in the past, Iran's greatest threat comes from the outside. Historically, Iran has been invaded and conquered multiple times, and most of these conquests came either from the northeast, from Central Asian powers, or from the west, from Greek, Arabs, Ottomans, and the British. But waging war in Iran's western front in the Zagros Mountains is very difficult, even in modern times. Saddam Hussein's army learned this the hard way when they invaded Iran. But the Iranians learned an equally important lesson. They too failed to launch a full-scale invasion from the Zagros Mountains into the lowlands of Iraq. The logistical problems make any large-scale invasion through the Zagros Mountains a bad idea. In general, Iran is both defended and contained by its topography, and so its biggest vulnerability is internal. Almost 50% of Iran's population is non-Persian, and most groups do face discrimination based on ethnicity, religion,
discrimination,
or language. This was a Caspian report. Thank you for watching. Saul.
Okay. This is interesting video, right? I've never seen this before, but this is very interesting. Okay. Sasabe, do you understand Iranian terrain?
Hi.
Territory? Have you ever seen this before?
No.
Okay. Takashi, do you have any opinion for this Iranian landscape? This country is many. I didn't know that they just only the half of population, just only Persian is only half of population, right? They have lots of Kurd and Azerbaijanis and the other people. Still, also they have tried to accession independent, right? So Iran itself is very difficult to invade from outside. Like how come Iraq try to invade Iran? But this is very difficult to invade, right? And instead, they have lots of ethnic people, very difficult to manage inside. And currently, they are looks like they are. We observe Iran; they are stable inside, and they are authoritarian country, not democracy, and sort of things. We are thought that, but population is very diversified. So they had demonstrations and protests the end of last year, and they got the problem. The country inside, they were people, ordinary people, very much frustrated for the managing of this country by against Rouhani. So this country is, I think, I watch this video, then I can recognize they have lots of problems inside, right? Not only against America, not only against Western nuclear power development. Rather than those issues, Iranian people, they originally have ethnic problems.
So has United States never to target this the vulnerable situation inside of Iran? They haven't tried to divide the country by manipulating this diversity of the ethnic group.
Good opinion. The CIA tried to do that before, right? I don't know that, but that actually in 1950s, CIA tried to break their democracy, right? 1950s. So the American people did that.
So Iran itself has also the reason why they don't want to introduce the full democracy, because the once they introduce their system based on full democracy, the general election, then they might have the problem in both. Some different ethnic group will get together to make some movement against the.
Maybe the same as Syria, right? Maybe. Okay, let's moving on.
And also the both Iran and the Turkey has same intention on the Kurdish, because so it's not, the intention is not to
Sled
and
of Kurd.
So they, as mentioned in the farmer, this video that Iran have sometimes tried to manipulate. They utilize that Kurdish in the west part to combine with some the hostile.
Hostile, you mean hostile against the Iranian government?
Kurdish to combine other ethnic group together against Kurdish. The Kurdish is not the bad for Iran, so we have to get together. So it's like same as Turkey, the Kurdish in Turkey,
Kurdish people go get together. They have 30 million people living there. But I've never heard about it. Inside Iran, Kurdish people, what kind of activity they are doing. I never heard about these people in Iran. But Iraq they try to be independent, right? They're just voting Kurdish in Iraq. Also, the Kurdish people in Syria. They have 3 countries at the crossing borders. Okay, so let's move on. 今日大橋来るよね。Iran's internal power struggle. Just Iran's internal power struggle, okay? More than 30 years after the Islamic Revolution, Iran's internal politics are still bewildering the mainstream media. For many, it's still not even clear what form of government Iran has. The country is a republic with elected institutions such as parliament, yet it's also a theocracy with a number of religious institutions. In theory, the mixture of divine rule and ordinary people could work. However, in practice, the system has transformed Iran into the kleptocracy. I don't understand why they're talking about kleptocracy, okay? With many factions fighting for power and influence at the expense of the wider population. In this report, we will dive into Iran's version of the game of the throne and explain the country's internal political power struggle. Okay? Game of Thrones. これなんか小説のタイトル。中世ヨーロッパに類似するけど、ドラゴンや魔法が存在する架空の世界において多くの登場人物が入り乱れる群像劇。で、あと、これ要約ですけど、選挙で議員は選ばれるんですけど、その候補者は事前に監督者評議会、さっき言ったかな？まだ言ってないか。監督者評議会っていう組織があるんですよね。で、承認されなければならない。しかもその評議会のメンバーを最高指導者ハメネイが指名するということ。イランの議会とか政府はすべて最高指導者の意向に沿わないとこういう議員とかね、大統領になれない。選挙はあるけど民主主義ではない。ラフサンジャニハク。これね、 リトルなんかちょっとややこしいんですけど、4つのグループがあって、ラフサンジャニ、ハタミが率いる穏健派。で、ラフサンジャニと穏健派かな。まあ。ハメネイの保証を破って、ロハーニは大統領になった。あ、違うね、これ。ラフサンジャニってあれじゃなかったっけ？前の大統領ラフサンジャニじゃなかったっけ？あ、違う、アーマンネイジャーだ。そうそう、ラフサンジャニ、ハタミはね、穏健派なの。で、ロハーニ大統領また別のね、ムサビが率いる改革派ってのがあって、欧米との市場開放を求めてるのがあるんで。これそんなメジャーじゃない。彼ら大規模なデモを行ったので活動禁止になった。また、保守の強硬派がこれ強いの。ヤジディっていうのがいて、これはアーマンネイジャーのが支持してる、ね。これ前の大統領。ロハーニと対決してる。この4つのグループがそれぞれ。だから、ラフサンジ・ハタミと、それから、ムサビと、ヤジディと、でもう一個言ったらどれだろうな。ハメネイの保守派だね。4つのグループがあって、漠然と活動してる。混然と活動してるっていう。で、これ、説明なんだ、これがそう。エレクトレート。投票する人は、エレクテッドインスティテューションで、プレジデント、キャビネット、パーラメント、ここまでだね。で、このガーディアンカウンセルってのはさっき言った監督評議会で、この監督評議会が、この候補者を全部管理してるね。で、これはですね、パーラメントからも出ていますけど、スープリムリーダーの派閥ですね。だから、これ、軍隊彼、それから司法ですね。司法も彼が管理してる。それからこれはね、エクスペディエントリーカウンセル。エクスペディエントリーカウンセルって、これちょっとわかりにくいんですけど、今日調べたらね、ここに書いてある。イランの最高指導者に対する諮問機関ですね。これ、諮問機関ですね。で、あと、アッセンブリーオブエキスパートってなって、これは、専門家会議ってやって、これは、ムシタヒドっていうのがあって、合議体、イランの最高指導者を選出する合議体ね。アッセンブリーオブエキスパート。最高指導者の活動を監視させる。で、これはだから実際に最高指導者を観察するっていう、そういう機能は持ってるね、これね。でも実際に彼が終身でね、これを通じて全部管理してる。だから、これとこれが仲悪くなることはありえないね。この人の意見をこの人は聞かねえ。大統領、それから内閣の閣僚、それから国会議員ですね。で、これ、ガーディアンカウンセルが国会議員の資格とか大統領の資格とか選んでね、目にかなった人になってる。で、このスープリムリーダーのハメネイが実際には軍隊と司法をね、管理してる。そういうことですね。だから民主主義じゃないよね。明らかに。これ選んでるところ民主主義っぽいけど、それはあくまでもこの香港と一緒で、これをなる人を選ぶ権利がこのハメネイが持ってる、ね。もうこの図を理解するのも結構時間かかるんですけど、佐世部君これを理解しないといかんよ。そうしたらだいぶ
はい。
だいぶイランのことを話ができるようになりますよ。
完全に、このアンエレクテッドインスティテューションではないので、場合によってはハマネイの保守派のグループが選挙で、
そうですよ。だから、
規制とならない。
だからハメネイの派閥じゃないんですよね。ロハーニは。で、たまたまこれだから第2期も選ばれちゃったんだけど。でも結局、経済を解放していかないとね、国が成り立たないんで、ロハーニはしょうがなくハメネイね、いいよって言ったんでしょうね。
ただ、そもそも、そこの選挙に出れる人には、として認めてもらわなきゃいけないので、
ハメネイね。
はい。完全に、どちらとも完全に好き勝手にはできない。
できない。
一定の、こうルールの中で。
いや、ハメネイは好き勝手にできるでしょ。スープリムリーダー。だから俺がダメだって言えば、このプレゼントはしょうがない。従うしかない。だから、オバマと交渉を始めた時もね、スープリムリーダーは、 いいよ。だけど俺はアメリカ嫌いだからね。でも交渉してもいいよ。だから、やっぱ経済立て直さなきゃいけないからお前言ってることはわかるけども、それをほどほどにしてくれよな、みたいな感じで始めたんですよ。だから、ローハにもそれ分かってて、アメリカは、かつてのね、イランに対して CIA が国を転覆させたり、イラン戦争で、毒ガスをイラクに使わせたりってことは、ローハニは忘れてないのね。だから、ハメネイは忘れてない。だから、ハメネイはだからローハニにそういうことがあったからアメリカは信用しちゃいけないよ。それはね、僕正しいと思うんだよね。アメリカってのは悪いこといっぱいしてきてるから、アメリカは日本に対してはね、悪いことしてないんですよね。第二次世界大戦前後でね、やってないんだけど。アメリカはね、世界中どこでもアフガニスタンでも悪いことばっかやってるんですよ。で、それは、そういう、なんていうかな、国柄っていうかな。イランコントラもそうだし、前の、そういうふうな、レーガンの時もね、悪いこといっぱいあって、CIA がね、いたずらしてるんですよね。世界中、アフリカなんかもそうですからね。
政権が変わると、その方針をガラッと変えちゃって。
アメリカ？はい。まあ、今回の場合はオバマからトランプっていうのは、トランプはね、白人至上主義だから、だからオバマや黒人でしょ？で、やったことにもう何でもかんでも反対なんですよね。だから多分そういうふうに理解すれば、彼の今回のイランに対するね、行動もわかるんだろうけど、まあ、そういうことだと僕は思うよ。深い意図はない。まあ、オバマやったのも嫌いだって言っただけで、じゃあ、他にどうするのって言われても、なんか答えられないみたいなね。
ああ、そしたら、イランにも、いや、真に受けられたら、アメリカはまたかって思われちゃう。前言ったことを撤回してる。
ああ、そうだよ。
裏では、いや、一応言うけど、まあ、それはそれで、まあ、表だって変な喧嘩しないようにね、みたいな話をしてたりする。
そう、表はローハニで、裏では、やっぱり信用してないことがあるよね。だからそういうふうなことは当然あるんですよね。おう、大橋来たか。はい。じゃあさ、大橋も参加して、椅子こっち持ってきて。今、録画してんだよ。そっち行きましょう。いや、いいよ。こっちで、そこで、その椅子こっち持って。で、並べばいい。ハード真ん中に。
おおどうも。
こっち座って3人並んで、で、今、録画してるから。
お面つけていいですか？ない。お面がない。
いや、だから、今日、笹部が出てんの。
あ、そうなんですか？
笹部がイラン勉強したい。
いいっすね。
珍しいよ。笹部はこの図わかるか、お前。
もう一回説明してほしいですか？
ダメだ、もう一回自分で君はさ、パソコンで録画しなくちゃいけないんだよ。あ、これアップするから。
あ、はい。
それもう一回見て。はい、
今、イランやってて、はい、イランって三方山に囲まれてるので、はい、外敵の侵入は抑えられる。
そこで入んない。
強みがあるものの、はい、国内は、はい、ペルシャ人半分しかいなくて、はい、いやクルド人とか、はい、アゼルバイジャン人とか、はい、その独立の火種をずっと抱えてるっていう。
なるほど。
だから意外と仲が安定してないっていう、なんかそういう話が出てたんですよ。
なるほど。
そう
なんだ。薩長みたいな。薩長、東北みたいな。
これ説明したんだ。で、あと、単語を説明しますとですね、はい、ジュリスト、プロファウンド、ダブド、
ジュリスト、ジュリスト、
プロファウンド、ダブドってよく出てくる。ダブ。それから、エクスパルジョン。これも出てくる。エクスポルジョン。それから、フュージョン。連携フュージョン。シュレッド。
連携って一体化ですよね。
一体化。フュージョン。シュレッド。シュレッド。
そう、シュレッダー。
グリッドロック。デセプティブ。
yes.
Lift.
Rift.
Feud.
Rift.
Lift. Feud. Lift. Lift.
Rift.
Lift.
Rift.
Lift.
Rift.
Lift.
Rift.
Lift.
Rift.
Lift.
No.
まだダメ。 Lift.
Rift. Rift.
Lift.
Delete. Rift.
Lift. Lift. Rift.
Getting better. Getting better. Yes.
Feud.
Feud.
Irreversible.
Reversible.
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 Patch. Patch. 鳥だね、これ。Patch.
Perch.
Fraud.
Fraud. Fraud.
Fraud.
Fraud.
Fraud.
Fraud.
Insight. Fathom.
I'm not familiar.
Fathom.
Fathom. I'm not familiar.
Stomach.
Repeated. Stomach.
Stomach. Okay, let's have a look at the video. Then you can find out the meaning.
Okay.
Why stomach is mean this one. Okay, just have a look.
Yes.
Okay, just. Okay. Oh, this is long, 60 minutes.
Iran's internal politics are still bewildering the mainstream media. For many, it's not even clear what form of government Iran has. The country is a republic with elected institutions such as a parliament, yet it's also a theocracy with a number of religious institutions. In theory, the mixture of divine rule and popular will could work. However, in practice, the system has transformed Iran into a kleptocracy with many factions fighting for power and influence at the expense of the wider population. In this report, we will delve into Iran's version of the Game of Thrones and explain the country's internal political power struggle. My name is Shirvan and this is Caspian Report. If you wish to support the show, please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/Caspian Report. Following the 1979 revolution, two factions struggled over the political future of Iran. On one side was the Republican faction with various ideologies ranging from secularism and socialism to communism. They believed that the legitimacy of a government depended on popular will. On the other side was the theocratic faction. They believed that legitimacy stemmed from the divine regulations. This blend of republicanism with religious authority is what forms the core ideology of Iran. Shortly after the revolution, by means of a referendum, a new constitution was drafted and ratified. The Islamic constitution was based on the works of Khomeini as described in his book Islamic Governance of the Jurist. The new constitution remodeled the country and laid the foundation of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Immediately following this, two things happened. A war broke out with neighboring Iraq, and a profound dispute erupted within the ruling elite of Iran. Under the veil of war, Iranian clerics, led by Khomeini, moved against their Republican countrymen. Over the course of the Iran-Iraq war, Iranians witnessed Saddam's war crimes and atrocities from without, and severe oppression and persecution by the Iranian clerics from within. It is during these confusing times that a number of Iranian guerrilla groups emerged. At the same time, the leading Republican politicians and cultural figures were arrested, kidnapped, and tortured. The Communist Tudeh Party was the first to get banned when nearly 10,000 of their members and sympathizers were arrested in 1982. Over the next few years, the other Republican-based parties were shut down. Anyone who spoke up against the system disappeared or was publicly executed. In 1988 alone, an estimated 30,000 Iranians were executed by the authorities. At the background of these events, Khomeini purged the educational system of Western and non-Islamic influences and brought it in line with political Islam. By the end of the war, hundreds of thousands of Iranian intellectuals had left their homeland. This intellectual migration and transformation became known as the Iranian Cultural Revolution. In essence, The theocratic faction had purged the Republicans from the political arena, and since then the revolution, which started out as a reformist movement, was dubbed the Islamic Revolution. The expulsion of Republicans from the political landscape lasted until the late 1980s. In the meantime, Khomeini reformed the government, the supreme leader in an effort to maintain...
Not how many, Khomeini.
Khomeini.
His yes, character shows how many.
A power balance between elected institutions and religious authority created a number of religious institutions that were interwoven with the country's legislative branches. For example, the Assembly of Experts.
それね、僕ね、先週土曜日ね、ずっと食べてたの。ビデオでさ、見えてさ、食べてんの。まずいよね。まあ食べんだよ。ボリボリ落とすんだよね。このマイクすごく高性能で、はい、あなたそれ食べてるでしょ、はい、ボリボリ落とさない。まあいいけどさ。
It was established in 1982, and all 88 seats were filled with conservative clerics. The members of the assembly were elected by the people, but the election candidates were regulated by the newly founded Guardian Council. This 12-member council was tasked with reviewing the candidates for the Assembly of Experts, the Parliament, and the...
Assembly of Experts 説明したよね、さっきのね。専門家集団、Assembly of Experts。Assembly of Experts っていうのは、これ、これね。Assembly of Experts。で、これはだからエレクトレートが選んで、専門家集団で、これはスープリムリーダー選ぶための機関だね。アセンブリードですね。そう。
あれ80年ぐらいいるって書いてあ
る。ここ88年。専門家会員。虫旅人って言うんだけど。講義会。
ムジュ
タヒド。オッケー。ちょっとこれ分かりにくいんだね。笹部君はきっとさっぱり分かんないだろうけど。
The president himself.
Okay.
The members of the Guardian Council were handpicked by the Supreme Leader.
Guardian Council ですよ。
was elected.
Guardian Council ね。Guardian Council っていうのは、これです。Guardian Council。これはだから、大統領もキャビネット、パーラメントをね、メンバーを選ぶための組織体で、これはもう実際にはこっちから出てるけれども、実際にはこれがスープリムリーダー管理してる。
unelected
ね、これそれだから、ローハイじゃなくて、なんだっけ。
ハメネイ。
ね。handpicked by the supreme leader. ね。
Elected and supervised by the Assembly of Experts. This fusion
supervised ね by Assembly of Experts.
of theocracy.
さっきフュージョンとか出てきたけど、フュージョン。
theocracy となんかフュージョン。
そう。
And democracy is what forms the Islamic Republic of Iran. And what makes it even more complicated is that there is no shred of transparency.
No shred.
Of transparency.
No shred of transparency. 透明性全くない。
The meeting of the Guardian Council and Assembly of Experts are held behind closed doors, and its discussions are kept strictly confidential. What's more is that this cycle of conservatives produces a gridlock system, meaning
これグリッドロックシステム手詰まりって書いてあるそうじゃないよ意味はね。
グリッドロックは
これなんていうのこれ。グリッドロックシステム。
変動じゃないかな。変動。
グリッドロック。手詰まり。グリッドロックと手詰まりって行き詰まるとか言うんだよね。グリッドロック。使うとよく使うの。グリッドロックって。行き詰まる。ここは違うよね。
英語で。
お前日本語で言うよ。なんとかに。グリッドロックちょっと直さなきゃいけない。これ。グリッドロック。これ意味違う。これ。ちょっと待ってね。うわ。
Situation of roads in town becomes so blocked by cars, it's impossible.
見てる
Impossible any traffic っていうので動けない。だから、
八方塞がり。
八方塞がりだね。その方が、動
で
けない。
もさ、でも大混乱とか、そういう意味じゃないよね、グリッドロックシステム。
つまり、身動きもできない。
cycle, the cycle will produce a gridlock system. まあ、手詰まりっちゃ手詰まりのシステムだよね。そういう意味だよね、要するに。Meaning,
no matter who gets elected or how many seats are controlled, the Iranian parliament does not have the power to truly change anything in the country. The real power rests with the religious bodies.
Rests with the religious body. これはハメネイのとこね。
The integration of religious institutions within the government created a deceptive form of democracy.
Deceptive form, 見かけ倒しの民主主義ね。
Nowadays, it seems as if Iranians choose their own government, yet when all the options are derived from one source, then the choices are merely empty gestures. This appearance of democracy creates legitimacy for the clerical faction, while in reality, it changes absolutely nothing. Thus, by controlling the assembly of experts, the Guardian Council, as well as the seat of the Supreme Leader, the clerical faction created a gridlock system, meaning they could remain in power indefinitely despite the will of the people. This is important to understand because it means that the Iranian parliament and even the government are not a true reflection of the Iranian society. Iran's internal state of affairs grew even more complicated following the death of the revolutionary supreme leader Khomeini. At first, Ayatollah Montazeri was the designated successor to Ayatollah Khomeini. However, since his protests over the executions during the reign of Khomeini, Montazeri was forced to resign his position. In his stead, Khamenei became Iran's new supreme leader. The dispute that emerged between Montazeri and Khamenei resulted in the division of the clerical elite. Two coalitions emerged from the split. On one side were the moderate Republicans, better known as the Moderates, led initially by Ayatollah Montazeri. The moderate coalition believes that the elected institution and the constitution stand above religious authority, which includes the supreme leader, the Guardian Council, and the Assembly of Experts. The moderates also support economic liberalization and want to interact with the West and engage in trade with the world markets. However, the moderates are quite conservative when it comes down to social reforms. Some of the most important moderate leaders include President
穏健派だ。これ派閥を説明してんだ。穏健派と過激派と保守派といろいろ説明して4つあるんだよ。それを説明してんだ。何のことかって分かんなかったから、そうだ。まあ、我々理解しなくてもいいけどね。これは穏健派ね。Moderate.
On the other side were the pragmatic theocrats, or simply known as the conservatives, led by
これコンサバティブ。
Ayatollah Khamenei. The conservatives advocate that the religious authority stands above elected republican institutions. They believe that the clash between Iran and the West is unavoidable.
Clash between Iran and West ね。この人だからアメリカ大嫌い。
And they promote conservative Islamic social values. However, they also support economic liberalization as long as it doesn't hit.
Also, he supports economic liberalization as long as it doesn't
hinder the Muslim social values of the society.
Hinder the Muslims. Don't hinder the Muslim social value, ne? Of the society.
At the backdrop of the split, the revolution.
Hinder 調べてない。阻害する。
阻害。
Regard sided with Khamenei's coalition. This 125,000 strong independent militia had earlier emerged as an influential institution following the Iraq-Iran war. In many ways, the Revolutionary Guard is similar to the historic Ottoman Janissaries and the Roman Praetorian Guard. The military institution has its own intelligence network, political candidates, finances, and even stocks in many of Iran's industries. Khamenei holds much sway over the Revolutionary Guard. That is as long as he can fulfill their financial needs. Following the rift in the political elite, a number of economic reforms were implemented. Nearly all of Iran's political power was centralized towards the capital, Tehran. Along with a centralized government came a government-funded economic model. Furthermore, new amendments were made to the country's constitution. The office of Prime Minister was abolished and the country became a presidential republic. As more and more power was streamlined to the leadership in Tehran, Ayatollah Khamenei soon learned that the presidency posed the greatest threat to the authority of the supreme leader. As a result, Khamenei was locked in a political power struggle with then-President Rafsanjani, who had managed to stay out of the feud between the conservatives and the moderates. As the power struggle between Rafsanjani and Khamenei intensified over the next few years, the president moved closer towards the moderate coalition. Eventually, the competition reached its peak during the night.
He said the conservative team more closer to moderate people. Moderate is Rouhani.
1997 presidential elections, moderate candidate Khatami, who was an ally of Rafsanjani, emerged as the victor as he received nearly 70% of the votes. This victory, however, came at a cost. Irreversible damage was done to the relations between the presidency and the supreme leader. Either way, Khatami turned out to be an unprecedented reformer in the short history of the Islamic Republic. He improved the rule of law and increased the living standards for Iranians. The president even attempted to weaken the grip of the theocratic political institutions. Ultimately, however, Khatami failed in this final effort, and his willingness to compromise with the conservative...
Khatami tried to make some innovation for the kleptocracy, but he failed. Supreme leader still keep power.
Had upset many of his allies of the moderate coalition. In fact, many members of the coalition were dissatisfied with the lack of social reforms and argued for even more meaningful change. The relations within the moderates deteriorated to such an extent that a new splinter coalition emerged. Khatami mostly maintained his moderate Republican support base, but the remaining members reorganized as the Radical Republicans, or the Reformists for short. This new faction, led by Musavi, advocates for...
This is a different group, Musavi.
A free market economy.
This is a free market economy oriented person.
And wants to fully normalize relations with the West. They have liberal views on social...
More liberal rather than Rouhani.
Values and support full gender equality. This new class of politicians wanted rapid reforms to strengthen Republican institutions and pursue a policy of secularism with a free press and the release of political prisoners. In essence,
release political prisoners.
The newly established reformists became the very same faction they had
He is very aggressive for the liberalization.
Purged in the 1980s. These demands, as basic as they are, were deemed too much by the other factions. Some conservatives even perceive the reformist policy as a threat to the foundation of the Islamic Republic.
Or threat the foundation of the Islamic Republic.
Thus, as a countermeasure, the most radical conservatives regroup.
Most radical conservative group, they have another one.
Under the leadership of Ayatollah Mesbah Yazdi, and formed the radical theocrat.
This Yazdi, most radical conservative group.
Are also known as the hardliners. The hardliners are closely allied with the conservative faction and believe that the elected institutions contradict Islamic traditions. They believe that all institutions and citizens must serve the religious authority.
So every citizen must serve the religious authority. They must believe Islam, right? very severely.
They advocate for a decentralized economic policy and are strong supporters of social justice. Furthermore, they promote conservative Islamic social and moral values, but this group...
this is like a moral value. It means he's like, maybe he will go to be Wafan.
also believes that the clash between Iran and the West is unstoppable and that Iran
unstoppable clash between Iran and West
should pursue to form a regional hegemony. Masbah Yazdi nominated Ahmadinejad as the presidential candidate for the Hardline coalition.
Oh, he's come from this group.
And despite widespread allegations of fraud, Ahmadinejad won the elections in 2005. During his presidency, Ahmadinejad marginalized the radical Republicans by jailing their most prominent activists, journalists, and politicians.
Jailing journalists and politicians, put in jail.
The repression of radical Republicans reached its peak in the aftermath of the 2009 presidential elections. Allegations of fraud overshadowed the re-election of Ahmadinejad. Hundreds of thousands of Iranians who voted for reformist Mousavi took to the streets and expressed their anger at the authorities. This new wave of demonstrations quickly became known as the Green Movement. What's more is that Iran had not experienced such large protests since the Islamic Revolution. The government obviously responded with violence. Protesters were beaten down, arrested, and tortured. The leader of the Green Movement and the Republican coalition, Mousavi, was accused of inciting unrest, and later he was taken into custody. And
Mousavi is the form of a more liberalized group. And this is Yazidi is more conservative, most conservative group. Most conservative group, the beat, the more moderate, the liberation group. This one, the protest is from more liberalized group. Yeah.
Put under house arrest, where he remains to this day. Following this, his
maybe he's Mousavi.
Republican Party was banned from the country. Ahmadinejad's brutal crackdown on the Green Movement lost him many supporters and continued to haunt his remaining years in office. Since the hardline conservative coalition was deemed too repressive, and since the radical Republicans were banned, the only lawful alternative was Khatami's moderate coalition. Khatami cooperated with Mousavi during the 2009
Khatami is a moderate group.
Elections and managed to exploit the losses of the radical Republicans
Khatami is a group of Rouhani group, right?
And the hardline conservatives. This became apparent when Rouhani, a close ally of Khatami, won the presidential elections in 2013. The election of Rouhani is just the latest development in the modern internal political power struggle.
By the way, do you remember that this is supreme leader, but also the president who going to be elected? But they have 4 parties, actually. And 4 parties, each other struggling. Also, they have supreme leader. Supreme leader come from one group.
Of Iran. This struggle between
good shows that, right? Moderate is Rouhani group, and this is the current conservative supreme leader here. This is Yazidi. This is Wasabi, and the so 4 groups is
various coalitions is more complicated now than it was in the 1980s and 19.
The most liberalized person, most conservative hardliner, Wasabi, Yazidi, and the conservative group is current supreme leader. This is moderate.
90s. Back then, the coalitions had extreme.
But we don't need to study like kind of detail about Iran, right? But this is just only the maybe Japanese do. Nobody knows that kind of organization in Iran, but just the information.
Opposing ideologies ranging from communists to liberals to clerics, but nowadays the differences are harder to detect. In economic,
So if whenever Sasabe study in detail about this and you're going to review the video, uploading that video, and you can study this and you can proud of explaining to other people so you know that Iran, or what is Iran?
In terms, most of the factions seek some form of liberalization. However, in social terms, the policy of the reformists differs so greatly from the other political groups that the conservatives and the hardliners cannot fathom it, and the moderates cannot stomach it. Ultimately, Khamenei has to maintain his grip on power by
Khamenei the conservative, right?
accommodating both theocracy and republicanism. The supreme leader cannot eliminate republican ideas, considering that many of the revolutionary leaders adhere to republicanism, but he also cannot sanction the transition in that direction. This was a Caspian report by Mishirvan. I want to express my special gratitude to the following contributors on Patreon. Their support and that of many others have made this report possible. And if you want to support the show and see more original content like this, please visit our Patreon page in the description. For now, thank you for watching, take care, and Sarol.
Okay, Ohachi, how do you think watching this video? Do you understand this, what they are trying to say, explain content?
Basically, it's
and
not...
okay, I try to, just remind this one, this organization.
Yes.
And this is Rouhani, this is Khamenei and Rouhani group. Khamenei elect those members from the Guardian Council. Guardian Council is appoint these candidates.
Yes.
And electorate just only the make election from this Guardian Council selected people, right? And also this assembly of experts is supervise this person, right? From this is just
but okay, assembly experts supervise unelected institutions.
This is very the same model of Hong Kong is currently they are doing.
Right.
Beijing organized Guardian Council.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So I think it's almost. I don't think it's democratic. It's not
no democratic. But my question is this better than democracy, or this kind of theocracy is better?
Okay.
How do you think about this? What kind of pitfall? What kind of weak point do they have, or better point?
Because historically, it's not one race, one nation. Right? It's not one race, one nation. There are Persians and there is different people, and they grow up under this authority. They didn't have free democracy before, right? And because authority makes rule,
monarchy.
Monarchy.
So, but 1950s is they're under democracy, but CIA changed to the democracy to monarchy, and monarchy to 1979 they turned to the current organization. From monarchy to the socialist.
So it's formed the current form of the governance in this country was
prepared by
CIA. I know the action against influence from CIA.
Yeah, CIA organized monarchy.
Yeah, it used to be democracy.
Yeah.
Thereby, it's easy to be interrupted
Yeah,
from outside.
that's
so
right.
They turned the governance form from the democracy to this system that fully based on the Islamic coalition. Then also kick out the Communist Party. So this is
Communist Party? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, communist to kick out Communist Party and kick out the influence from the Western outside.
You mean the current theocracy? Current regime?
Theocracy, yes. So these 4 different factions was established originally under the same interest to kick out the influence from outside. So, and then after that, in terms of the policy of the economy, is some idea and policy was divided by each factions, some groups. Then one is one group wanted to open the mall, the market.
You're talking about the reformist or the moderate?
Reformists ones seek more trade with outside, but other one was rejected and they value the Islamic rules. So after they separated itself into moderate and conservatives. Then the ones reformist won the election, but it deems too much. Then in return, the extreme conservative was emerged, but it also deems too much. Then in the latest election, there is not any alternatives but to choose the middle moderate, not extreme moderate, not extreme conservative.
Yeah, people select moderate, just Rouhani. And that just current supreme leader is selected from conservative. But he is also former president. 10 or 20 years ago, then he going to be the supreme leader of that position. And the supreme leader is a lifetime, position he has.
So I think it's good for Iran's the stability of the country. Domestically, they have now less influence, less chance to be manipulated from outside, and also now having these 4 factions. It seems to be there seems to be check imbalance in the small groups.
But it's a little bit feel strange. America 2 parties, Japan is almost the one party, but they have very few. But they have 4 parties.
4 parties.
Usually we don't have kind of so many parties, but I don't know how come they have 4 parties. It's left and right and moderate and
moderate and extreme. Then 2 extreme factions, moderate and conservative, is now less popularity. Then middle 2 have some chance to.
So I think basically by having extreme conservative and extreme liberals, that help create people to focus on center.
Yes.
Right. So if there's only 2, then they might complain. In their culture, maybe they might complain about not enough selections. That's too much, or that's not enough.
Oh, you mean the government intentionally organized 4 groups?
By having extreme
or
right
as a result.
Or supreme leader organized 4 groups?
Maybe, yes.
It seems to be the must result. So some situation before have to create this situation where the 4 groups have to see each other by having the check and balance.
Yeah, because also Japan too. The LDP right now, it seems to be supposed to be in the middle, but we have a Communist Party, right, and we have a Liberals Party, right, and we have a Liberal Democratic Party, and we have a Socialist Party. So by number of parties, we have more than 2, and they're supposed to maybe not become the the main leader of the country, but by their existence, supposed to assist to help the other majority party to be in the middle. Just right now, just not enough their influential leaders are around besides the LDP, that which what looks like the single party.
Okay, by the way, how do you think about this kind of regime? Not democracy, theocracy, but do you think, how do you like this?
How do I like it?
Yeah, supreme leader or president, also both is just existing in one government. How do you think about this? What is the good point?
It's already as it is. So now it's
no. 1979 they planned and they implemented this. Okay, at that time they said they don't have a time, so they had to create this organization.
Yeah,
Let's go.
The first priority is to prevent the more influence interferes interferes from outside. So they wanted to kick out any influence from outside.
So minimize the external impact.
Because usually, give me something. Usually, this kind of revolution, and they're going to have two options. One is a socialist organization, revolution, socialist organization, one-party socialist organization, or in the case of Africa, dictatorship, authoritarian dictatorship. Usually, kind of an organization they're going to pick it up, but this case is secrecy.
So like Iraq is a good example, right? It became dictatorship.
Iraq is democracy.
Hussein,
yes, that's right.
Right.
Usually, kind of same type of organization they're going to organize, but this kind of theocracy, right? Very rare. I've never heard about this.
I think,
but it did that work, right?
How about, because in Iraq there is majority is Shia.
Iraq is a democracy, democratic country.
Now it is.
Before in Saddam Hussein, this is Iraq is at that time. Saddam Hussein is from Sunni.
Sunni.
And population, orderly majority people Shia.
Right? So in Shia, there are Sunni leader, right? But you're saying here, there's not just two tribes, but there are 4 tribes, right?
But this is only the left side, election group. But the supreme leader group is different, right? Supreme leader group, they don't matter about party or everything else. This is the opinion they can have only the elected institutions.
Correct.
But this is, I'm talking about unelected institutions.
Okay.
So how do you think about unelected institutions? This is theocracy. It's very rare in the world. I've never heard about this, right?
Right.
So this is my question. Why they think about this? And how do you think about this one? Not dictatorship, but very rare organization regime they have, right?
Yes.
Do you think this is a good organization or bad organization?
I can't say if it's good or bad from my knowledge up to.
Or simply, how do you feel?
How do I feel? It's religious leader, right?
Yeah.
So as religious leader, so beyond the tribal perspective, but they share same religion, correct?
Religion, not ethnic religion.
Right. They share same religion. So
Islam.
By having an Islamic supreme leader, they can help. They can think differently about the politics and religion. And by having supreme religious leader, they can complain politics, right? But how about Japan? Right, we have emperor, right? Emperor has
bad example. Emperor, the Congress, and Prime Minister. Completely different. We got Prime Minister can judge.
But
what do you want to say?
But emperor doesn't have political power.
No.
but it's still involved in process.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, Gyome Gyoji.
No. This
Yes.
is no.
And when you make the law, government makes a law.
Ritual. No.
But emperor is one who
No.
announce.
No.
No,
No
yes.
influence.
No, that is an influence.
ritual.
So it's collaborated.
No ritual.
No, it's collaborated. You see, civilians, politicians, emperors, they are collaborated. And what I'm saying is...
No, nothing written in the constitution, no.
No, so you see, emperor is not religious leader.
No, symbolic.
Well, it's okay, symbolic, fine.
Under
Symbolic, but still involved in process.
constitution, symbolic. Not more than that.
Oh, but define what symbolic
But this one
means.
is supreme leader, they can make decision.
Ah,
Okay, he can hate this president. He can deny president issues.
Yes.
But my question is, president come from moderate group, and supreme leader come from conservative. I don't know how come they can cooperate each other. Oh, the supreme leader, today I don't show you the video, but the supreme leader is always hate America, crush America, crush British. And then many people, okay, thousands of people get together, and they chant, crush America, crush British. They're always talking about in front of the supreme leader. And Rouhani is different. Rouhani is moderate. He never says that. He is cooperating with the United States, doing business with them, but Khamenei hate them. But I can't believe how come they can just cooperate with each other. But Khamenei accepted, okay, nuclear deal. He accepted, okay, Rouhani can make a contract with Obama, nuclear deal. And what I'm thinking, okay, Trump is they try to discard the agreement, right? But Rouhani is confused. If they're going to happen, that what's going to do in Iran? Because Khamenei is willing to scratch this nuclear deal, and they don't like America, or they don't care about sanction. But Rouhani, they want to get ordinary people's acceptance for the economic growth. And currently, Iran is high unemployment rate. And then after that, the sanction is lifted sanction. Then economic growth is recovered and inflation rate is stable. But still, they have unemployment rate and no investment from overseas. The economy is they just lower class of labor is still their life of the standard level of life is not improved yet. So that's the reason why they had a protest and demonstration had at the end of last year. So and Rouhani tried to settle down the frustration and ordinary people irritating the current situation level of life. So
I think it's like, I don't know, my analogy, father and mother.
What do you mean father and mother?
One can complain about, A, and other can complain about B, right? So if you anger about what A is saying, you can agree to what A is saying. And if you are angry about B, you can complain about B.
Oh, this case is different, okay, because I'm going to explain a little bit about this. Rouhani made a commitment, second term of president, within 100 days, okay, he's committed for the people, okay, just improve your standard of life within 100 days. But actually, Rouhani didn't do anything at all, nothing changed. And this is last May, so 3 months is on June, July, August. September, the ordinary people are irritating, nothing changed. And unfortunately, at that time, bird flu, they killed 17 million chicken. 17 million chicken.
They had bird flu in Iran?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
So
know.
they killed 70 million chicken. Okay, so and then what happened is actually egg price double up, egg price, and also their food is also raising.
Sure.
So this in the coming December, they have protests against government and press Rouhani. So this is a history of the end of last year. So what happened? And at the same time, okay, Trump said, okay, we try to discuss this agreement. So Rouhani is very serious situation. Okay, lifted the sanction is good for the open economy. The Rouhani expect open economy, but still not get benefit from lifted sanction. And but lower class workers, his life is still stable, not improving, and high unemployment rate. The inflation is stable, and economic growth is getting better. But still, low class workers, life level is not improving.
Right.
So this current situation is very similar to the United States. Okay, so they try to consider Iran first. Okay, they need to consider national interest, and also supreme leader is they hate America. So this current Iran situation is very, very hard situation now. This is what I want to say. So not for the other type of thing. This is more serious situation.
But I want to. What I want to express is to have an enemy outside of your country, right? Or look like China, right? Raising anti-Japan campaign.
Oh no! Okay, just a moment. Let me try to explain that. This country is originally they have lots of ethnic groups.
Yes.
And not only just Iranian. They have lots of many people. And of course they have Kurd there, and also they have some other lots of ethnic people there, and Iranian, just only original Iranian, half of those. So always they need to consider for inward within the country how to organize this country instead of outside. This is the Iranian history. So now is they have protests inside the country and spread all over the country, and not easy to settle down.
Right.
And
not outside with China. But China also have many different tribes, and
exactly.
Right, and they have so many internal terrorism, and at the same time, when the economy is, that's what I was trying. What I want to say was that's why they're having so much internal problems. They want to create a target outside the country. As enemy, so don't get mad at us. I
understand what you said. Okay, just like not Rouhani, maybe just supreme leader is attack criticize America.
Yes, and so
people. This
economy is not because of problems. That's the U.S. is doing this.
I agree with you. That'd be a good idea. Okay, and Rouhani and. The other person is
Khamenei
and Rouhani is cooperate each other behind scene. Okay, I'm going to attack America, criticize America. Okay, just people is just more focused on America, hate America. But the other way is Rouhani try to settle down how to improve standard of life and try to avoid sanction, lift sanction, keep current situation going, and the other way around is supreme leader attack America. It's a good idea, right? But behind scene, two persons shake hands. Okay?
Yes, shake hands and the compromise, but cannot be absorbed into one idea.
Right.
Like it's similar to the Communist Party in China, having different groups, or even in same one party, the communist.
It is good. You probably good idea. So this is, I think, I 100% agree with you. This is Iranian regime government. That's the reason why supreme leader Khamenei against America, criticize America, but also Rouhani. Oh no! Just keep the current. Don't keep lifting sanction. Keep going. My economy is more important. That's Rouhani and the other side, supreme leader. They just cooperate each other, right?
Downside of it is that the citizens couldn't have the right to say yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
This is just beforehand. I just showed you the video of the Iranian terrain and many ethnic people is very inward. How to organize the inward is very difficult to organize this country. So this is, I think, one way to just use example. China is one example. I think this is understandable. Authoritarian cannot do that, right? Authoritarian will just kill them. Okay, so today I couldn't do the program, but this is my objective is we don't go moving fast, step by step.
Yes.
And we have make discussion. Okay. Good. So today is just on many. I spend discussion time. Good. Sasabe, you can speak something. Okay. You can say something, Sasabe.
Hi.
What did you study today? Speak.
ちょっと喋れないですよ。ごめんなさい。
Why you cannot speak? Because the other people around you?
Yes.
Honest.
You're honest. Okay. It's good. Today, you enjoy?
Yes.
Okay. Good. This is my new style for my UNNO school. So I will show you video, but I will have a lot of discussion with each other. And Takashi and Ohashi can speak English, so we are today chatting together and discuss what the direction. So today's goal is why Iranian government regime like this. This because they try to how to tease or how to calm down the ordinary people, avoid their protest, avoid their demonstration instead of current economic slowdown, but they cooperate conservative supreme leader and moderate president. We're going to call they doing well, and supreme leader criticized America, but president is no, just don't lift sanctions, don't keep going lifting sanctions, keep going under current situation. So this is doing very well now. This is today's conclusion. Okay. So thank you very much for today. I'm very glad. Next week again I try to do Iran again. Okay, thank you very much. Okay? So I'm going to finish. It's very difficult. Okay. So で、これはどうやってしまうか大変でいつも難しいんだ。
イランとトルコ、さっきのクルド